All right, everyone on your feet. Here are the Rams of Central Catholic. Our officials for tonight's game, our referee is Tracy Sumner, the umpire Darrell Willis, the head linesman is Dave Guglielmi, the line judge is Daniel Russell, and the back judge is Tyler Johnson. The OSAA requests that you model good sportsmanship by refraining from derogatory cheers, chants, or behavior towards students, coaches, officials, or other spectators. Any verbal, written, or physical conduct relating to race, gender, age, color, national origin, ethnicity, disability, sexual orientation, or religion will not be tolerated. Such conduct may subject the violator to be removed from the event and result in penalties assessed against your school. Any spectator removed from the event may be banned from attending future interscholastic events. Speak out if you see inappropriate behavior by immediately notifying event management staff. The OSAA and Central Catholic are committed to a welcoming environment that promotes fair play and respect for all, and expect the same from each of you here tonight. We request your cooperation in supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Together, we can provide a safe and respectful environment for all.
You mind if that? Welcome to Hillsboro Stadium for the 5th game of the 2023 season for Central Catholic. Brian Acton and James Broadous with your call tonight here at the home stadium for Portland State. Central Catholic will be taking on the Reynolds Raiders, who are 2-2 on the year. Central Catholic is 4-0 and have been running away from their opponents nonstop this year so far. But James, this will be the first time that we're going to be watching these guys live. Is there anything that you're specifically looking for in today's matchup?
You know, I'm just excited to watch the Rams play again. You know, every year it seems like they just reload. You might think that they've lost some key players here or there, and you don't know what to expect. But from what I've seen in the box score, I see that they have not missed a beat. And so I sort of just like to see sort of perfection. This is about as close as you can get to a program that just continues to play good football year after year. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how they retool.
Yeah, well, the familiar name that we both know, I should say, is Crew Newman. He's in his third year as the starting quarterback. So far this year, he's thrown for 881 yards, 12 touchdowns in the first 4 games. But it's not just this season that he's been so productive. I was breaking down all the numbers that he's had. He's 29-2 as a starter. He has 346 completions for 5,800 yards, almost 5,900. It's 2 yards away from that. And it's 75 touchdowns to only 9 interceptions in his varsity career. He has put up stellar numbers as a thrower. But then you look at what he does rushing-wise, 204 career rushes, over 1,600 career yards, and 21 touchdowns. He's averaging 7.97 yards per carry, and that includes the sacks that he's taken.
You're talking about production. This guy has, and we watched him grow sort of right before our eyes, you know, and he's just continued to get better and better. And if you do lose some players, some wideouts, you might lose some receivers, some linemen. But if you can continue to bring a quarterback, and he's this productive as Crew Newman has been over the years, your team is sitting pretty right now.
Talking with Coach Pine, about a third of this receiving group is new to Crew Newman this year, so there has been that slight learning curve for him with the new guys. In fact, one of the new guys is Demarion Gates, who's actually back there to receive the kick. And it looks like he might actually have to come off momentarily. Nico May will go back to receive the kick now, along with another familiar name, Timmy Mitchell.
And I'm excited to see Timmy Mitchell play. You know, again, another one that we've been watching over the years. He has some injuries, but he's always battled back. He's very athletic. And, you know, one thing about the Rams, they've been exciting at all levels, and even here on special teams. So you got Timmy Mitchell back there, and again, we know that once he touches the ball, he could take it to the house.
Samuel Hernandez will kick for Reynolds from the 40-yard line. Angles towards the near sideline and actually goes out of bounds near the 26-yard line. And, well, we've already started off with some dirty laundry on the field.
You know, that might not be such a bad thing. You know, I'm not sure he tried to kick the ball out of bounds, but you want to keep the ball away from these athletic returners of the Rams anyway.
Well, let's get you the starters for Central Catholic. Zach Staskowski will be the left tackle. Zach Davis, the left guard. John McGregor will be the center. Liam Madigan, the right guard. And then Evan Brenner, who's changed positions a couple times in his years at Central Catholic, will be the right tackle. Crew Newman, the quarterback. Landon Kelsey will be one of the starting wide receivers, along with Nico May and Tommy Pempel. And then Andreas Nicolaitis is the starting tight end. And Tyson Davis will be in the backfield, along with Crew Newman. Trips right formation, tight end down on the left side. It's actually Killian Sambe who starts out as the running back next to Crew Newman. Hand off to Sambe, opening up the middle, and there he goes. Nobody out in front of him. First play, it's going to end up in a touchdown. I don't see any laundry. 5 and touchdown for Sambe. 65 yards for the touchdown on the very first play, and the Rams are up 6-0, and we're not even 11 seconds into this contest.
We're not even 11 seconds and we're up 6-0. So he basically ran an 11-second, 65-yard dash right there. That's good execution. Again, you can see that they are just sort of head and shoulders above a lot of the other teams here in the state of Oregon, and they're perfect execution on first play, 65-yard touchdown.
Sambe with his second touchdown of the season certainly beats his previous career long of 16 yards with a 65-yard scamper right there. As Zeke Vantoff on for the extra point, 21 of 23 on the season. Hold is down, kick is up, and it's good through the uprights, and a 7-0 lead for Central Catholic on the very first play. There's not much to really break down after that. If you can even call it a drive, it was one play.
You know, and Sambe is a sophomore. You know, when you go to games, a lot of times in basketball in particular, you hear the crowd yelling like, he's a freshman, he's a sophomore. He has two, Coach Klein has two running backs. Either one he wants to start at any given day are both sophomores. Yeah,
talking with him earlier this week, he talked about how Cade Galen was the starting running back last year and mixed in Tyler Newberry. But he realized we've got more depth this year. Why have them go both ways when they could focus on just one side of the ball? So you see Newberry and you're going to see Galen on the defensive side. Let those sophomores get a little work in there and really build that program up. As you already alluded to, it just seems like they keep retooling, and these sophomores look like they might have a bright future here.
Man, that is a luxury to have. That's a luxury that most teams do not have. When you can play high school football, you can play one side of the ball. Most of the times, your best athletes have to play both sides of the ball. But when you're as deep as the Rams are, you do have that luxury of just playing one side of the ball.
Vantoff on for the kick. It tells you how productive this offense has been for Central Catholic. Vantoff doesn't even have an attempt at a field goal so far this year, all extra points. Kick will be taken in by Jordan Samutri. Sidesteps a couple of defenders, and he's taken down at the 19-yard line. That's where his momentum stopped. Palmer Davison was there along with number 47, Donnie Vercher, excuse me.
You can see the Rams. They were out there trying to get that ball right there on the kickoff. They're trying to strip the ball and get that ball back to the offense.
Starters for Central Catholic on the defensive line, Kainoa Hayes, Phoenix DeCosmo, and Maddox Carpenter. The linebackers will be Zach Davis, Dexter Foster, Ty Newberry, and Cade Galen. We were just talking about them. We'll get you the rest in just a moment. Counter action and breaking to the outside. Got through one tackle, and Timmy Mitchell comes up from the safety position to make the tackle on Travis Hull. Gain of 2. It'll be 2nd and 8.
It looked like that play had some action of getting bigger, and Timmy Mitchell came up and filled that gap and tackled him for a 2-yard gain. There was a lot of green, and for a second it looked like he may be able to turn the corner and pick up 10 yards or so.
The secondary for the defense, Ty Jones is one of the corners, along with James Wade III, Demarion Gates, is a starting strong safety. Then Timmy Mitchell's the free safety, making the transition from the cornerback position. Pass out to the near side, caught by number 5, Michael Gray. And there's a pack of Rams at the line of scrimmage. No gain. It'll be 3rd and 8.
Timmy Mitchell, again, playing both sides. He's reading these plays right off the bat. He's right there on that tackle. 2 plays, 2 tackles.
You know, last year he dealt with a little bit of an injury bug, but talking with Coach Pine, they sort of limited his role this year to really help him thrive. Instead of having to try to get through everything offensively and defensively, they moved him back to safety, and he has to focus on less, and it's really proving what a great athlete that he has been, making that transition.
Right.
2 receivers each side. Newberry shows blitz. Quarterback Che drops back. Now he rolls out to his right and chased down by number 8, Dexter Foster.
You know, it's going to be a tough night when your skill positions on offense are not as fast as the linebackers and the linemen of the Rams. Dexter Foster, again, closed just like we saw Timmy Mitchell a few plays ago. He closed in that play. It looked like there was some room for the quarterback, but your linebacker, your defensive end, is out there. It's just as fast as the opposing team's quarterback. Spells bad news.
Aiden Hancock's punting. Gates and Mitchell back to receive the punt. Gates will take it at his own 47-yard line. Breaks 1 tackle. He's juking around. Now he goes to the far hash. He's got blockers out in front of him at the 30-yard line. The block by Galen sets things up, and a late flag coming in near the 33-yard line. So the punt return will probably be coming back. And it seemed like a very late flag when there's nobody on the near side of the field. And yet we've got Laundry on the near hash.
Right. I'd be interested to hear what they call, because I didn't see it. I mean, I know most of us are watching the great play by Demarion Gates.
Number 14, Central Catholic, 10 yards from the spot.
Now the referee pointed the wrong way, but the holding call was on number 14, Ty Jones of Central Catholic, so that punt will come back. And they'll mark Central Catholic at the 45-yard line in plus territory.
You know, that's one of those plays. It's just unnecessary. I know he's trying to do his job. There's always cameras watching, so as a coach, you're going to pick out every little thing and on each play to make your players better. So you're trying to continue doing your job, but you're blocking way away from the play. Your teammate was already going to score at that moment. You could have just let that hold go.
Tyson Davis now in the backfield. Newman gets a great pass across. That'll be a first down. Gain of 17 on the play. The catch was made by Landon Kelsey. Tackle made by number 2, Hector Macias. That's Kelsey's 11th reception of the year coming in. He had 4 touchdowns through the first 4 games. He's a transfer in from Ridgefield across the river in Washington, and he has really showed out. When talking to Coach Pine, he said he's probably been the most productive anybody could be through the first 4 games. Trips left formation. Hand off to Davis. Up the middle. Got up through 1 pair of tacklers, and he'll be taken down. Gain of about 5 yards on that play. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Tyson Davis on the carry.
You know, going back to Landon Kelsey for a minute, 6'3", 190 pounds. You know, that's another big receiver that Crew Newman, I'm sure will enjoy throwing to.
Right.
He's had some big receivers in the past, and Landon Kelsey just sort of fits that mold.
Keep an eye on Kelsey. He's on the bottom of your screen right now. 2 receivers at the top, Pempel and May. Newman looked right. Now he goes left. Throws over the top, looking for Kelsey, and his foot looked like it was on the end line and out of bounds. It'll be 3rd and 5 from the 21-yard line.
You know, I mean, that's easy to call out of bounds, but I'm not completely sure that that's the right call. You know, our crew may be able to run us back some instant replay on that. But, Kelsey did a great job of first securing the ball and then trying to get that left foot down. And I'm not completely sure he did not do that.
Either way, it was a good pass from Crew Newman. It was the only place where Kelsey could have gotten it. The defender out in front of him. Trips right with the tight end down on the left side. Davis to the left of Newman. Sweep action. Jukes one defender, gets the first down. He's inside the 10. A flag comes out, and he's still falling forward, taken down at the 3-yard line, but there is a flag at the 24-yard line, and in the backfield, that usually does not bode well for the offense.
But all the linemen are up with the ball there. So, again, I'd be interested to see what he called. More than likely, like you said, back here is typically holding, but they must have held real fast and took off running.
Holding on the offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
Coach Pine constantly talking about how he wants to cut back on these penalties, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Central Catholic.
And when we spoke, he mainly just talked about the fatigue factor, not necessarily mental mistakes, but just being tired and holding on a little too much right there. And that'll make it 3rd and 15 from the 31-yard line.
You know, and that's the worry a lot in high school football. Guys get tired. And when they get tired, when teenagers get tired, they do silly things like hold when you don't need to.
Newman looks left.
There he goes
Pempel over
again.
the middle. Now they're going to go deep. And Kelsey makes the catch. Touchdown on 3rd and 15. Central Catholic cashes in. Landon Kelsey gets his 5th touchdown of the season.
12 catches, 5 touchdowns. You know, there was a guy in the NFL by the name of Chris Carter. They said all he does is catch touchdowns. This guy right here, all he does is catch touchdowns. You think he's happy about transferring right now?
I think so.
I believe he is.
Now, Richfield wasn't a school to scoff at, though. They had a good season last year, and no doubt that Landon Kelsey was a big reason for that. As Vantoff on for the extra point, his second one.
To attempt the extra point.
And that'll make it 14-0 here in the first quarter. Little over 4 minutes into this quarter. And right now it just seems like Central Catholic on both sides of the ball, the defensive line and the offensive line have really digging their feet into the trenches and making a name for themselves in that aspect of just controlling that line, and things are really opening up for them.
Yeah, you know, we talk a lot about it. Football games, in particular high school football games, are all won in the trenches, and right now the line is holding up on both sides. There's not a whole lot that the Raiders can do. As a coach, you don't want to see penalties at any point in the game, but at the same time it gives the Rams opportunities to run more plays, you know, and we would have seen a punt return for a touchdown and their offense wouldn't have got to, you know, practice on some more of these plays. So at this moment, you're getting to see the run game, you're seeing the passing attack, you're seeing it all already in, 6 minutes of action? I'm not a math major. What's
I think it starts at 12, so yeah,
12?
just over 4 minutes.
Okay. Something like that.
Kelsey with 52 yards receiving and a touchdown. Newman 2 for 3 passing. His only incompletion was a call that was made that Kelsey was out of bounds as Vantoff ready for the kickoff again. Simantri takes the kick at the 20-yard line up to the 25, and a Packer Rams will surround him and take him down, and they're going to mark him at the 27-yard line. It seems like a generous spot. As the Raiders will take over, it's 1st and 10 from their own 27.
We'll see what the Raiders come out in. You know, I don't really know what you can call. I think at this point, if you're the Raiders, you want to just try to slow the game down. You don't want to get the ball back to Crew Newman and his teammates on the offensive side. So take as much time as you can, run the football, and just at this point, sort of just self-preservation.
Two running backs back with Peyton Shea, the quarterback. Samotri goes out in motion and knocked down by number 51 on that play, Grover Mello.
Jay's pass, batted down, incomplete.
You know, they teach you on the line, if you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up. And that's what happened right there. Again, just you can see the techniques that have been taught by this Central Catholic coaching staff, and they're all coming into action. They're all coming to play.
This defense right now, they've Actually scored 4 touchdowns themselves on the season. They've got 9 interceptions, returned 2 of them for a touchdown, 4 fumble recoveries, also bringing back 2 for touchdowns. So this team does turn the ball over quite a bit, and a false start on the right side of that line by Luke Turnout.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 77, Reynolds.
And you're seeing Central Catholic on the defensive line making some shifts after the initial call on the offense. And with how they've been beat, it seems like early on here, you can see why there might have been a jump early.
Yeah. You can tell that there's the linemen, you know, they're a little bit nervous. And they have to try to get off the ball quickly or they'll never win that battle. So any movement by the Rams may sort of offset that whole offensive line.
Another false start, this time on Aiden Hancock's.
Or you saw that from here. You don't even need to wait for the ref, huh?
False start, number 73.
He was the man that was pulling. That's the only reason why I knew.
Now they're playing behind the chains. This is not a good situation. You talked about the pick sixes and the interceptions that the Rams got or have gotten this season, and now the Raiders get themselves in passing downs. And this is when the linemen just pin their ears back. The DBs start licking their lips because you know these are now passing situations.
Michael Gray is the lone receiver on the bottom for Reynolds. Option, pitch it out to the outside to Hull. Rover Mello swings him around, and Maddox Carpenter will clean it up for a loss. Looks to be a loss of 4, maybe 5 on that play. That'll make it 3rd and at the very least 24 coming up for Reynolds. Ball will be placed at the 13-yard line. So a loss of 4.
Back-to-back penalties and then a loss of 4 yards. When you're playing a team like the Rams, you have to make sure that you're tightening up. You cannot put yourself in a deeper hole by getting silly penalties around the line of scrimmage.
2 receivers at the top, 2 receivers at the bottom. Che. Snap count, gets the shotgun snap, throws out to his left, and at the ground, 21-yard line. The catch is made by Michael Gray. Ty Jones is there to add his hands. It'll be 4th and 16 from the 21-yard line. And that'll have Hancock's back to punt now. Mitchell and Gates to receive it.
Hancock's in punt formation for the Raiders.
Reynolds this year 2-2. They had wins at Willamette and at Gresham. They beat Gresham 27-20 and beat Willamette 33-19. Their 2 losses, though, a combined 81-6 in those games. Hancock's punt will be taken by Gates at the plus 49. Jukes out one guy. Now cuts to the near sideline. Past the hash. Cuts back inside. He's making quite a few moves and taken down from behind by Aiden Curtis, the sophomore. And another great return by Gates. Now, didn't end up in 6, but still just as good for this offense. A short field inside the 20-yard line. They'll start 1st and 10 at the plus 19.
Right. Gates is really shifty. You know, you see him out there. He's making moves to the left, moves to the right. He's trying to, every time he touches the ball, you can see that he's trying to score. That's sort of that Deion Sanders mentality. You ball in your hands, hey, I'm trying to take it to the house.
Gates, a junior. 5'9", 165, and talking with Coach Pine, he thinks this is another kid that he thinks can go at the D1 level with how he plays. Trips right tight end on the left side. Swings it out to number 11, Palmer Davison. Beats the ankle tackle. Now he's past the first down marker and taken down near the 5-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 6. So a 13-yard pickup by Palmer Davison. And it'll be 1st and goal for Central Catholic at the 6.
You know, B, I mentioned a few minutes ago about there's so much film that coaches will be able to pick out everything that's happening, so you better be out here doing your job. And we just saw Gates make these moves around here as a punt returner, but right then he was blocking, and he was really giving up his body for his teammate to get these extra yards.
Hand off to Davis. And he's pulling in Hancock's the defender into the end zone. The second rushing touchdown for Central Catholic. The first one for Tyson Davis. That'll be his third touchdown on the season. And it's a 20-0 lead right now for Central Catholic. 4:43 left to go in the first quarter.
Tyson Davis hit that hole and was just not going to be denied. He had a guy hanging on him, a pretty big fella hanging on him, but he was not going to be denied that touchdown.
275 hanging on him by the hips and still churned those legs into the end zone. Vantoff's extra point is up and good. His third one. Now 24 for 26 on the season. And this comes back to that running back depth right now for Central Catholic. You had Newberry, you had Galen, but let these sophomores cook right now, as both of them have a touchdown. Zambe now has a new career long with 65 yards. In fact, he had 88 yards coming into today.
Well, you know, the other part of that is it's a testament again to the coaching staff here at Central Catholic and Steve Pine. When you can have guys that play running back for the majority of their high school career, then their senior year or even when they become upperclassmen, you ask them to go over to the defensive side and just concentrate on defense, and we bring in two sophomores to run the ball. That doesn't always go so well. But when you have a program like the Rams do, and the type of respect that the coaches gain, your players will fall in line and will not put up a fuss.
Central Catholic has 130 yards on offense. Meanwhile, Reynolds has 13 yards of offense. They've been dealing with a couple of penalties as well. Simountry takes the kick at the 20-yard line. He's met by Newberry, and he falls forward to the 23-yard line. So it'll be.
Is there I get sort of confused, high school, college, and professional, but if you fair catch, does the ball come out to the 25 no matter where you fair catch it?
That is a newly implemented rule professionally. It is in college. I'm not sure about in high school, though.
It seems like it would be if it isn't, and if I was the Raiders, I might want to try that.
Yeah, I was going to say fair catch every time.
Yeah, and just get the ball at the 25.
But yeah, they haven't started at the 25 yet. Simountry and Hull, the running backs, next to Che. And a timeout taken by Reynolds.
What do you think the timeout was about?
I'm guessing somebody wasn't in the right spot offensively.
Yeah, probably.
And they wanted to talk things over, make sure they get it straightened out. Now, we knew this was going to be an uphill battle for Reynolds in this matchup. I mean, you look at the two sidelines right now. If you had to play 22 players for Reynolds, you'd only have about 5 to 10 subs. Meanwhile, for Central Catholic, you can field almost two teams with this sideline.
You know, and that surprises me because Reynolds, the high school itself, it has so many students there. You know, it's one of the bigger schools in the state. And to only have 25, 30 football players, that really surprises me.
Hull takes the handoff to the left side, pokes through the offensive line, and falls at the 27-yard line. Pick up of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
You know, there's a lot of kids that are not playing football. A lot of kids, there used to be the time when there was 3 sport athletes and whatnot, and now there's so many students that will say, oh, I'm not playing because the team isn't very good. And we're like, well, if you play, maybe you would make them good. But it's just not the same mentality that it used to be from our student athletes.
Simountry goes out in motion. Trick play, double pass, and the catch made by Gray. He's at the 40-yard line. Mitchell chasing him down at the 20, 10. Mitchell tries to strip the ball from behind, makes the tackle near the 5. They're going to mark him down at the 2. And a little trickeration from the Reynolds Raiders ends up in a big play and a first down. It'll be 1st and goal from the 2-yard line.
Absolutely great play right there by the Raiders. That's what you have to do. You know, you're going to use the aggressiveness of the Rams against them, and they did a little, what do you call that?
I called it a double pass. Simountry went out in motion to the near sideline, and I don't know if that pass was necessarily behind, but it still worked out for the Raiders. Now they're going under center. We have not seen this from Reynolds yet. I formation. Hand off to Holt to the right side. Bounces it out. And he will be met at the line of scrimmage, and he will get no further. Davis in on the tackle, along with Foster and number 13, Roan Beaupre.
Nice run right there. Ran hard, like you said. They went under center, just going to go power. Let's see if we can get the ball, just power the ball through to the goal line. But this is one of those tests that as a coach, you want to see your guys. You want to see if your defense can stand up right here. We know this is 4-down territory for the Raiders, and I'll be interested to see how the defense responds to this.
Jabrian Test is the fullback in the I formation. And it looked like it was not a clean exchange from the center to the quarterback. He had enough wherewithal, though, to try to fall forward. He did pick up a yard. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line.
It looked like it was going to be a keeper from the giddy up, but he did lose control of that football, and he still made he got him a little bit closer.
Now, if that was the Eagles, it would have ended up in 6. That tush push that they've got going.
The tush push.
Or what some people in Philadelphia are saying, the brotherly shove.
And that play should be illegal.
And there's the QB sneak, and he's in. Reynolds with points against Central Catholic. It'll make it 21-6 with 2:06 remaining.
That's something to build on right there.
Absolutely.
By the Raiders.
Can't rely on the trickeration the entire game, but really it paid off right there when you're trailing 21-0. You need anything to go your way, and they got it to go right there. The long reception by Michael Gray, bringing it down to the 2-yard line, and the QB sneak. Why make it go backwards when you can just go forward? And not a clean hold. Timmy Mitchell blows that play up.
Point attempt is not good. Score remains.
Simountry was the holder on that one and couldn't get it down in time for the kick. And so the score will remain 21-6.
You know, trick plays are only trick plays if you run the trick plays at the right time. If you don't run them at the right time, they look like dumb plays. And Coach Bo Jones, he figured out that this was a perfect time. We weren't expecting a trick play. No one was really expecting a trick play. You had ran that little swing pass before, so now you run it again, and now he makes a double pass, and it was perfect timing. You know, we've seen throughout our years of watching football when guys try to do the hook and ladder or any other trick plays, and they don't work because the defense is anticipating something.
Well, that was a point of taking advantage of the aggressive defense of Central Catholic. They all came up after they saw that swing pass, because you just mentioned it. They'd already run that play a couple times before, or at least get that motion going. The Rams snuck up and got beat behind them. Had that pass actually been out in front of Gray, he had to slow down a little bit, actually. But had that been out in front and let him use his momentum going forward, he might have scored the touchdown there.
Now, do they try an onside kick? I think the deep men for Central are too far back.
Hernandez kick angled toward the sidelines and out of bounds again near the 25-yard line.
Kicking the ball out of bounds.
You know, that's frustrating as a return man. You've been waiting back there. You want to get your chance to get your hands on the football and take it to the house, and they keep kicking the ball out of bounds.
Well, if you're Reynolds, you might be okay with that, with a couple of punt returns we've already seen from Demarion Gates. And Crew Newman's going to get a breather right now. It's going to be Bo Rolak, the quarterback, the backup quarterback, I should say. 3 for 4 on the season for 52 yards. He'll have trips right formation to start out. In the backfield with him is Killian Sambe. Takes the handoff to Sambe, and 2 different Raiders are there. Hole was in on the tackle along with Test. Loss of 1. It'll be 2nd and 11.
You know, we've seen Coach Pine do this before. He did this with Newman when he was a sophomore and when he was a freshman as well. Just getting them some playing time in the middle of the game, not just when it's already a blowout, giving them some experience and getting them, preparing them for next year.
Rolak, a junior, so this is an opportune time for him. Davison makes the catch, spins out of a tackle, cuts back into the middle of the field, and taken down in plus territory at the 48-yard line. Test was in there for the tackle again at the shoestrings. 1st and 10 for Central Catholic.
Nice pass right there by Bo Rolak. Read the coverage, hit him right on the slant, hit him right between the numbers in stride. That's the type of confidence. This is why this program continues to retool.
And I think there's a timeout.
Timeout. Central Catholic.
Central Catholic will call the timeout now. And after that nice play, why do you think they called the timeout?
Coach Pine's not happy about something, you know. And again, he's not going to be happy. 21-6. Some players, some coaches may be like, you know what, it's not that big of a deal. It's always a big deal. Again, as a high-level coach, you're not just coaching for this game. You're thinking about the next game. You're thinking about the next play. And he just wants to make sure that guys are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Well, Central Catholic comes into this game ranked as the 7th team in 6A behind Westland, the team that took them down last year in the semifinals, eventually went on to win the state championship. They are ahead of Tualatin, who they beat in the state title game a few years ago, and also ahead of Lake Oswego. Drew Newman was 65 yards passing so far, still with the breather. In motion, it was Gates. It's going to be a keeper for Rolak. Everybody went with Gates. Rolak has the opening at the 20-yard line, angling towards the far sideline, and he will make it to the pylon before the defense gets to him. And that'll be a touchdown for Bo Rolak, a 48-yard rush and score.
Perfect execution. You know, that's that read option. And as a quarterback, you got to make the right read. And so he made the right read. The lineman went after the running back. He made the read, and he took it 48 yards to the house.
Hold up. There's a flag near the 49-yard line. They blended in with that yellow circle of the soccer lines. And that play is coming all the way back. Everybody bid on Gates, who was in motion for the fly sweep. And that's the third penalty now for Central Catholic, total of 30 yards. It'll be 1st and 20 from their own 42-yard line. Trips left, tight end on the far side. Screen pass to Davison. Past the 50, picks up most of those yards. In fact, he'll get a couple more, a pickup of 12 as he gets taken down at the 46-yard line.
Zach Hayden on the stop.
Zach Hayden in on the tackle. It'll be 2nd and 8 from the 46-yard line.
You know, once again, the penalties will hurt you, but it does give you more opportunities to go through your playbook.
Rolak rolls out to his right. A wide open Gates at the 40-yard line. It's a foot race. Jukes to the outside, beats the arm tackle, and he is going to score. Looking back, I'm not seeing any flags, and that is a touchdown from the referee.
Touchdown.
Catch and run for Demarion Gates, his 5th touchdown of the season, as that one goes for 46 yards.
Nice. If you get him the ball in space, he's going to be hard to take down. And you can see these moves are not just working because they're playing Reynolds, who may not be as talented. Those are big-time moves. You talked about Coach Pine saying he could be a Division I football player. I'm liking what I see from this young fellow.
And wide open in the middle of the field. It just seems like Reynolds forgot about him for a moment, and that trips right formation as Vantoff on for the extra point with 12 seconds remaining in the quarter. Kick is good, and that'll make it 28-6, a 22-point lead right now for Central Catholic.
How many touchdowns has that been called back today?
That's two. Yeah, 2 touchdowns. You had the punt return called back, and then you just had the run from Rolak. Rolak gets his first passing touchdown of the season on that one, thanks to Demarion Gates.
And in Kangaroo Court, Rolak has his first rushing touchdown too. Or maybe not his first, but we're counting that touchdown.
Yeah, we'll count that one.
If I'm Rolak, I'm counting that touchdown. On my highlight film, on my, everybody has highlights now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm putting that on there. And we're going to just edit out that
He had a bit more
flag.
speed than I thought he was
Absolutely.
going to have.
Yeah. He looked good. And I don't believe that Pine has taken Newman out of the game for the rest of the game.
No, not at all.
He's just letting his guys get in there and get some work with the ones and let them continue to learn.
Vantoff on the kick. Samountry and Gray back to receive at their own 5-yard lines. Samountry's taken the last couple of kicks. Has not gotten to the 25-yard line, though. Kick will be taken at the 13-yard line by Samountry. Stopped his momentum. Nico May was in on the tackle along with Aiden Broughton.
Samountry on the return. Aiden Broughton.
Thought he was going to get to the 25 right there.
Not that time. Didn't keep his feet moving. That was the number one problem right there. He just stopped all of his momentum when he ran in. You can't really call it a wedge anymore. That's illegal. But with everybody that was right in front of him, he didn't have an open path.
No, it looked like it was going to be open, but that hole closed quickly.
So 6 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Hull will be in the backfield with Che. Gray is the near side receiver. Trips left, though, for the Raiders. 1st and 10. Fake pitch. Che up the middle and taken down by number 29, it looked like. Trey Hoffert.
Trey Hoffert with the stop.
Hoffert sort of the backup safety as Central Catholic rotates the back end of their defense, but he came up in a hurry to make that play.
He came up, yeah. He read this play. The quarterback faked the pitch, kept it. It looked like there was going to be some greenage out there, and safety came up and laid big hat.
So at the end of the quarter, they'll put 12 more minutes up on the scoreboard. It's 28-6 currently at the end of one. And James, we're pretty happy with the score so far, but what have you noticed that has really stood out to you?
That the Rams are a machine. The Rams are a machine. The things that they're working on and all offense are working, what they're working on and defense is working. They are a well-oiled machine.
It'll be 2nd and 4 for the Raiders at the 29-yard line. Two running backs in the backfield, Hull and Samountry. Correction, Samountry goes in motion. It's a handoff met quickly in the backfield by Zach Davis. He is a menace. I remember a couple years ago, he was trying to make a name for himself. It was last year, just as a sophomore, was making plays left and right on the defensive line. And he's got a bright future that most certainly he'll be playing at the next level.
Oh, yeah, that guy. I remember Zach Davis. He was making big plays last year, and as you can see, that was just not a fluke. That wasn't a one-time thing. This guy is going to be tough to handle all year long.
Loss of 6 on the play. That'll make it 3rd and 10. Trips right formation. 3 receivers at the top of the screen. Rams showing blitz. Che rolls out to his right, throws off of his back foot and out of bounds. The pass was intended for number 81, Tristan Jepson.
Pass intended for Jefferson.
Some stats so far. Sambe, 3 carries for 70 yards, including 1 for 65 yards. Central Catholic with 3 carries for 70 yards. Sambe had 65 yards on 1 rush for the score. Passing 5 of 6 for 160. Gates with 46 yards receiving so far, but it's Landon Kelsey who also capitalized with the touchdown as well. 2 passing and 2 rushing for this Rams offense so far. Hancock's will go back to punt. High snap. Foster came in and blows up the up back as that punt goes out of bounds they're marking at the 37-yard line. And another short field for Central Catholic. I don't know if they've started on their own side of the field. And the only reason why they've been on their own side of the field is penalties that have killed them.
Right. Dexter Foster came in, and like you said, just blew up the up back, knocked him right into the punter, forced this shank punt.
And Foster will be going to Oregon State. He's a transfer from Roosevelt High School.
Oregon State, okay, I won't hold that against them.
Crew Newman back in at quarterback. Pempel and Kelsey, the receivers on the far side. Pempel will make the catch on an out route at the 25-yard line. He's got speed, and in the end zone, a touchdown for Central Catholic. One play and a score. It is 34-6. Tommy Pempel gets his first touchdown of the season, and he has already surpassed his total yardage on the season. He came in with 3 receptions for 25 yards, and right there, he goes for 37 and a touchdown. He's soon to be Quaker. He's going to the University of Penn to play football.
Wow. That was a nice throw right there.
It really was.
Did you see that throw? He put that right on the mark, and all Pimple had to do was catch it, put his hands up, ball landed right in his hands, and he turned it up for the touchdown.
Vantoff got the extra point, and it'll be a 29-point lead. It's 35-6 with 10:52 to go in the second quarter as we creep ever closer to what we can assume will be the running clock in the second half.
Yeah, this 35-point lead at halftime.
Correct.
Creates the running clock in the second half. I would be surprised if we did not get a running clock. The rule itself is meant for, just to keep the scores from being outlandish and just sort of hurt players' feelings.
So you're saying you don't want a Dolphins-Broncos score of 70-20? I'm kidding.
Not in high school, but I did enjoy that in the NFL. If you're getting 70 scored on you in the NFL, you deserve it. There's no mercy rule there.
Then I'll ask you, do you think McDaniel should have gone for the field goal, get the all-time record for most points in a single NFL game? I've heard both sides.
No.
Yeah, I'm with you on that
No.
one.
No.
He talked about bad karma, and had he done that to the Broncos, he felt like that was going to come back on his team at some point.
If you get it in the flow of the game, then you get it in the flow of the game and everything is fine. But don't do something special to create that. If you didn't get it, it's no big deal.
So Samountree is no longer back there to receive the kick. It'll be Hull and Gray this time as Vantoff will kick from the far hash of the 40. Kick carries to about the 3-yard line, taken by Hull. The Rams converge on him near the 15-yard line, taken down at the 17-yard line. So again, starting behind the 25-yard line for the Raiders.
Just when you look at that play right there, you see so many Rams on there on that tackle, on the pile. If you were able to run it back, you would see how many Raiders are standing up and how many Rams are on the ground making the tackle. The blockers at some point are going to have to be willing to stand in there, give their teammate an opportunity to return the ball instead of just sort of opening the doors and letting the Rams through these big gang tackles.
Late substitution as Jepson comes on as the tight end on the near side. 2 receivers at the top. Fake the sweep handoff. Went up the middle. It'll actually be a loss of 2 on that play.
You pretty much could tell that the ball was not going to go this way. You had the late number 81, the tight end, came in late. He didn't go into the huddle. He didn't know the play. He just ran to his position. That tells me right there that the ball is not coming to the left, and it looks like the Rams may have peeped that out as well.
Andon Curtis was the ball carrier, the new running back in. As Hull will get a breather. Maddox Carpenter made that last tackle. So Curtis in the backfield again with Che. Twins formation, 2 receivers on each side. Defensive line moves for Central Catholic. Che drops back, 3 steps, throws over the middle, and broken up by Hoffert, and he got there a tad early, and that's why that flag came out He had his hand on his back the entire time as that pass was intended for number 10, Austin Vixatep.
Yeah, he was closing, and I'm not sure he trusted his closing speed, so he wraps his arm around the back side of him right at the same time. He should have just trusted his closing speed and either intercepted the ball or went ahead and defended the pass.
Good throw by Che, actually, throwing that towards the sideline and allowing his receiver to possibly make a play on it. But the penalty on Central Catholic knocked the ball away, but it is a first down. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. That is the first down for Reynolds in tonight's game. They'll start out in trips left formation.
See if is it time for some more trickeration?
Hull is back in the backfield with Che. Gray is the lone receiver on the far side. They're going to hand it off to Hull. Cuts up near the guard and picks up a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9 from the 31-yard line.
You know, the Raiders have had a little bit of success running up the middle. You know, just
they've had holes, but Central Catholic has been so good at plugging them incredibly fast. Even on their first possession, we both thought that Hull was going to bounce it to the outside, might pick up 5, maybe 6 yards, but the closing speed of the defense negated all that and made it a minimal gain of about 2 yards.
So they would like to stop. They would want to stop trying to get outside against this speed.
Fake handoff to Hull. Jay throws to the outside up the seam. Oh, correction. He was looking for Gray. Some miscommunication right there as that ball sailed out of bounds. Gray stopped on what looked to be a curl route.
And Che threw the get this ball out of my hand route. That's what he threw right there. It looked like Maddox Carpenter was barreling down his neck. He had to get rid of that ball. That's a great name, Maddox Carpenter.
Really is. That is a football name.
That is a football name. You should change your name, Brian, to Maddox Carpenter.
I can't take his thunder like that. Trips bunch formation on the near side. And a flag gets thrown. Is it going to be offsides? It is, looking at the referee on the Central Catholic sideline.
Encroachment. Defense, 5-yard penalty. Stilton.
So from 3rd and 8 to 3rd and 3 at the 36-yard line. That is the 5th penalty for Central Catholic in this game.
Coach is not going to be happy.
For 55 yards. And 2 of them already on this drive. You had the defensive pass interference, and now you've got encroachment. Now, he talked about not many mental penalties, but that has to be a mental penalty. You're watching the ball on the defensive line. At least you should be. Jay, swing pass out to Hull. 1 missed tackle, 2 missed tackles. Gates makes the play along with Ty Jones. That'll be a first down, a pickup of 5 on the play. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line.
Hayes on the stop.
Nice route, nice play right there. Again, these quick hitters, the Raiders, this is what they're going to have to do. You're not going to have a whole lot of time. He's got to be able to take these 3 steps, drops, and get rid of that ball.
Hand off to Hull. He'll go to the outside, past the tackle. Got near the 45-yard line. Kainoa Hayes makes the tackle. He was a bit slow to come up, and he'll come off the field limping. Evan Brenner will run onto the field. Brenner's a nice story for Central Catholic. His first year, he was a running back / linebacker. His sophomore year, he was a tight end / linebacker. And then this year, Coach Pine asked him if he'd move to the offensive line because they needed help solidifying the right tackle position, and he jumped right in. Got to the weight room, put on some weight, and really embraced his new role. And Coach Pine talked about how that might be the biggest difference in playmaker that has been on the offensive side of the ball, just to solidify things for Crew Newman.
And that's a great story. A story that every head coach and every level at every sport would love to have. You have a guy who's willing to make that type of sacrifice, again, for your team, but that doesn't happen on every team. There's clearly a lot of respect for what Coach Pine has done and what he is doing. His players will make those type of adjustments for the betterment of the team. And if Brenner was that type of, if he was a running back, a linebacker, can you imagine the athlete that he is? And
right.
now you have him on the offensive line. You can do a lot of things with that type of an athlete as an offensive lineman.
Keep an eye on 53. He's the down lineman closest to us right now. Trips right for Reynolds. Rolling out, it's Che. And he's going to toss it deep, and Samountry put a hand up near the 28-yard line, but the ball just passed his fingertips, and that'll bring up third down and 13 from their own 39-yard line.
You know, Che showed again some athleticism, getting outside of the pocket. Wasn't a bad pass. It was just a little bit out of reach. But they're going to have to either keep moving the pocket for him or do some quick hitters for him to get rid of the ball.
I think you make a great point. That is going to be what they have to do. Move your quarterback a little bit more, whether you roll him out or design play action, because the defensive line for Central Catholic seems to be right in his face almost immediately if he's staying in the pocket. Jay 2 for 6 for 39 yards. And a delay of game. And that's unfortunate. Right now, you don't have the play clock down on the field, so Jay having to look at the back referee behind the safeties who's counting off those final 5 seconds. And with Jay having to run to the sideline every single time and run back to the huddle to deliver the play, that play clock goes down pretty quick. Jay looks left. Defense is in his face and taken down by the feet. Couldn't see who made that tackle. It was Dexter Foster with the sack. That'll be his third of the season.
Dexter Foster got around that corner looking like Myles Garrett. He came screaming around that corner, ducked his shoulder, get underneath the tackle, and was right there on the quarterback and pretty much ended what was the Raiders' best drive of the day.
Yeah.
And you see the Rams defensive line showing one set and then moving right before the snap, and I think that's confusing the quarterback.
Foster almost got his hand on that ball on 4th and 25 on the punt. It goes out of bounds into the bench of Reynolds. Did not see where the referee marked that ball. Looks to be the 35-yard line, so again, another short field for the Rams. We'll see if Newman goes out there or if it's going to be Rolak. At the moment, I see it's Crew Newman. Gates, Kelsey, and May, along with Pempel, will be the receivers. So you've got 4 receivers, no tight end, and then Killian Sambe, the running back. Correction, Pempel now going to run off. Nicolaitis is the tight end on the near side.
Kelsey hasn't been in for a while. Now that he's in, would not be surprised if this ball heads in his direction.
Hand off to Sambe, already a flag out on the field. Sambe, the breakaway speed, gets away from Reynolds and in the end zone, but don't get too excited. There was a flag at the 46-yard line, and you have to think the offense was not set up correctly with how fast that flag came out. Couldn't have been a hold. It was too fast. And I think that confusion of Pempel having to run off the field and making sure people were on the line. We'll see what the actual call is from the referees. This would be the 3rd touchdown called back. Not that that stopped the Rams from scoring anyways.
During the play, sideline warning, 5-yard penalty. That will be imposed on the kick.
And another one. Coach Pine is not happy.
He is livid right now. He just got a warning to start off, so it wasn't how the offense was set up necessarily, but a sideline warning. Now, you do have to give the referee space to run up and down the sideline, so you have to wonder maybe Somebody got into the ref's way, and then Pine had a few words for that near side referee.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, head coach, Central Catholic, 15-yard penalty. God save them.
And you're hearing some of the fans cheering on that. That does not hurt Central Catholic, so the touchdown actually counts. They were going to do the 5-yard penalty on the extra point, but now the 15 yards also added on for the unsportsmanlike penalty by Coach Pine.
So I'll see if they assess this on this point after, or do they assess it on the kickoff.
Sambe with the touchdown. And that would have been good for a 35-yard run. So 2 long carries gives him 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
The referees, I don't know if they know what's going on right now.
Well, you have 2 penalties now being assessed. And they're going to do the unsportsmanlike on the extra point.
The unsportsmanlike occurred after the ball was set. Therefore, it's assessed on the extra point.
So now you're getting pushed 20 yards back. Am I understanding that correctly? The ball was set 5 yards after the initial penalty, and then the unsportsmanlike added 15 more. So Zeke Vantoff, even though this will only go for an extra point, will actually basically have a field goal opportunity for him. He has not been out there for a field goal attempt at all this year. Again, this is only an extra point. But still, this is a 40-yard try. Shuver to hold. Kick is up by Vantoff. Does he have enough leg? No, it hits the crossbar.
Extra point attempt is not good. Score remains Rams 41.
So it'll be 41-6. And the Rams have hit that magic number. 35-point lead right now. 6:14 left to go in the second quarter.
If the Raiders get it within 25, then 35, then the clock will not run yet. So there's still time for the Raiders to score and push this running clock back a little bit. Let's see where they.
Well, it should just be a regular kickoff at the 40, since they assess the penalty on the extra point.
They assess both penalties on the extra point.
And the referee did say that first penalty, they already spotted the ball, and then the unsportsmanlike came out, and that's why they added the additional 15 onto that. Now Vantoff will kick off from his own 40. Samountry is back to receive the kick again after having Hole come in the last time. Gray, the receiver with the long reception on the trick play, also back to receive the kick. Gray will take it at the 9-yard line, has a wall in front of him. Cuts towards the Reynolds sideline. Ty Jones met him along with a couple of other Rams. And that'll be the best starting position for Reynolds today at the 25-yard line.
Ty Jones in on the stop for the Rams.
Let's see if they can put together a couple plays. As you're charting your plays, you make notes on what has worked and what could work if they would have executed it right. And let's see if they go to some of the plays that were working for them here in that last drive. See if they can move the ball a little bit, get something going before this half.
Jay looks to his left, already met by 2 different Rams. Maddox Carpenter and Kainoa Hayes will each get a half a sack right there. Coming into today, the Rams defense only had 5 sacks on the season, and that would be their second full sack. 2 players split that half sack right there, and then Dexter Foster had the sack on the last drive. That'll make it 2nd and 23 on their own 12-yard line.
Maddox Carpenter is beating his guy off the line of scrimmage with ease right now. You can tell he's coming in there and he's able to get rest. That's the other thing that the defense is able to do with the Rams. They're able to give their guys rest and come in and just stay fresh and just get after that quarterback.
You want to talk about depth for this team as the pitch out to Hole, stretches it to the outside, cuts back inside because the defender got in his way. That was Patrick Phelps who forced him to go back inside a little bit. Minimal gain of 1. It'll be 3rd and 22. But Maddox Carpenter last year, all-conference center, not even a starting center this year. They're focusing him mainly just on the defensive line. 6'1", 270 as a senior. He's a hard body to move, and you can see why he's been a pest up the middle so far.
Man, just a assortment of toys for Coach Pye.
Trips left on the near side. Gray, the lone receiver, top of the screen. Che looks his way for a slant. And have to be careful that it looks like they brought him down by the helmet, and so the flag comes in. Yep, that's exactly what the call is.
Carpenter, penalty marker on the play.
Carpenter's trying to plead his case because Che sort of ducked his head as he was making that tackle, and maybe it looked worse than it was, but even I noticed he brought him down by the head from up here.
And I think they're calling basically a horse collar, but Carpenter, I'm sure he's asking the question like, I was in front of him. He ducked down. I didn't pull him from back. I didn't pull him from behind by the collar. I was in front of him. He bent over, and he sort of just grabbed the back of his shoulder pads.
So they're marking it off from the original line of scrimmage as well. And this is a big penalty for Reynolds. You're looking at 3rd and 17. That was before the sack.
15-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So it'll be 3rd and 3 now.
That's not an automatic first down here at the high school level.
So 3rd and 3 at the 32-yard line. Clock continues to tick. It's 4:21 remaining until halftime. I formation. Hand off to Hole. Breaks it to the outside the tackle. Gets the first down. Taken down at the 39-yard line. Jones in on the tackle. Central Catholic 7 penalties now for 80 yards.
That's good for Reynolds, first down.
And Reynolds gets their 2nd first down. Correction, 3rd first down, because they did have that trick play that got them down to the 2-yard line. And they're going to line up in the I formation again. You've got 2 tight ends down as well. Gray goes in motion. Pitch to Hole. He's got a couple blockers in front of him, and the defense, the closing speed, ends up in a loss of 3 on that play. It'll be 2nd and 13.
You know, occasionally you're able to get outside, like on that first down play when it was 3rd and 5. He was able to turn the corner a little bit on the outside, but you're not going to make a living trying to stretch the defense out. They're too fast, too athletic. You're going to have to spend some more time trying to hit them up the middle or like we mentioned earlier, some more quick-hitting passes.
Newberry was in on that tackle. The one thing you would like to see from Hole is to just cut it up the field earlier. Too much trying to go east and west instead of north and south. And that'll help Central Catholic every time. We see that they've got the speed advantage against the Raiders so far. Bunch right. Pass over the middle, and Gray falls to the ground before Newberry makes contact with him. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe even picked up an extra yard there. Looks like it'll be 3rd and 9 from the 39.
Not a lot of yards picked up on that play, but a positive play nonetheless. And you're just looking to stay on the positive side of the ball if you're the Raiders right now. You know, you're trying to go outside and you're losing yards. This way, you may get 1 or 2. You might be able to break a tackle, but you just want to make sure that you're staying on the positive side of the chains if you're the Raiders.
Trips right.
Get rid of
Jay
it.
looks right, found an opening. Now he's going to take it himself. Flag comes out, and Zach Davis swallows him up at the line of scrimmage as he got outside the numbers. We'll see what the flag is. Probably a hold with where that ended up. And maybe that's why that opening was there for Che to break the pocket.
You hate to see
You're right. Yep. Right in front of their own bench. And that's their quarterback, actually. Peyton Che, that is on the ground. You hate to see that.
First and foul, defense. 62, 15 yards.
Phoenix DeCosmo gets called with the personal foul. 15-yard penalty, and that'll be an automatic first down for Reynolds as that gets them past the sticks and back into Central Catholic territory. You have to think there's, outside of that one trick play, more penalty yards that have benefited Reynolds than the defense has necessarily given up. It'll be 1st and 10 on Central Catholic side of the field at the 46-yard line.
Yeah, I missed that. I didn't see the...
I'm not quite sure what actually transpired there.
Yeah, I didn't see that infraction. Oh, they have a new quarterback.
New quarterback in the game. Looks to be number 8, but I don't have a number 8 on my roster. As he can't get back to the sticks, Central Catholic forces him out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Mitchell, Foster, and Newberry were there.
Yeah, maybe they just asked him to suit up as they were standing around them. As they were coming in the parking lot. Saw this big kid out there. Hey, I got a jersey. He's a big body.
I don't know if that's Bodie Barnes or not. Normally wears number 16, but he's the other QB on the roster. Freshman at 6'1", 145. Seems much bigger than 145. Flag comes out. Tucks it and runs. He's got some speed. Breaks contain. Past the first down marker. Now there is a flag on Reynolds' side of the 50 at the 48-yard line. But there's a burst of speed right there from the quarterback. And maybe that's something you can grow around here as you head into halftime, trailing by 35. And I believe they just called a false start. Oh, illegal formation.
5 yards from the previous spot, repeat the down.
So there you have a nice play of about a 13-yard pickup, and now you're actually going to go back 5 yards on the illegal formation. It'll make it 2nd and 17.
And if you notice on the sideline, Peyton Che hopped up, and he went up to the coach. He was sort of preparing himself to come back in the game. I think coach saw something that he liked by this quarterback, who we believe is Bodie Barnes, and so he's going to give him a couple more opportunities here. He sent Che back to go ahead and continue to stretch. Let's see what this young fella can do.
Trips left on the near side. Looks to be man defense, a blitz. Barnes spins away from the pressure. Smart move by him. He's got open field. He's at the original line of scrimmage, and Ty Jones knocks him out of bounds and actually into the bench of Reynolds. Popping up, though, is the quarterback, Barnes. Nice pickup right there. What was 2nd and 17, that was a pickup of 13, and much more manageable at 3rd and 4 at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, you're going to need a mobile quarterback against this front of the Rams, and right now, this quarterback Barnes is really showing that he can make something out of nothing, because there isn't a whole lot back there. There's not a lot of plays, not a lot of time, and so you're going to have to be able to create magic.
Trips bunch left formation. Barnes hands it off the hole, goes up the middle, past the center and guard. It'll be 4th and 1. Maddox Carpenter makes the tackle. And now we're under a minute remaining in the half, and a timeout called by Reynolds. And you have to go for it right here. This deep into Central Catholic territory to be 4th and 1 on the 37-yard line. Bodie Barnes has made a couple of nice plays, and hopefully you can grow on that, get a first down right here. You have one more timeout remaining in the half. Maybe if you can get the first down to get out of bounds, really regather your team, get a play out there.
Yeah, this is Bodie Barnes has breathed new life into. I would think they would go for it anyway, but it would probably be more of a conversation if they did not have this quarterback in the game at this time. They may even be thinking about punting, but now with Bodie Barnes out there, and you can see how he's moved the crowd a little bit.
Barnes is actually coming out, and back in is Che, which sort of a surprising move.
Yeah, that's surprising to me. I understand you go with what you feel has brought you here or what you have, who's taking the most snaps, but at this point.
Hole gets the handoff, met in the backfield. Carpenter, Newberry, you name it, whoever on the defense for Central Catholic. There were 4 different bodies there. And that'll be a turnover on downs. Central Catholic will take over their worst field position of the day so far. It'll be 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line.
45 seconds, 2 timeouts, the best quarterback in the conference, quite possibly the state, all the weapons. I would not be surprised if they scored a touchdown in this drive.
Oh, they've scored quicker than 45 seconds
Yes.
plenty of times, even in today's game. In the backfield is Tyson Davis with Crew Newman. Kelsey and Davison are the receivers on the near side. Nicolaitis is the tight end down as well. Newman looks to his left. He's got May down the sideline and leads him just a hair too much as the ball landed at the 25-yard line. Incomplete on 1st down. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 40.
Crew Newman, I know he wishes he had that one back. Just a little bit too strong, but I would not be surprised again if they just come back and run that same play on the other side now, because the receivers are now able to create separation pretty easily, and there's a mismatch all across the field. Where's Kelsey?
Kelsey's the receiver on the near side. Looking for Davison over the middle, and Davison cannot make the one-handed catch.
Intended for Davison, incomplete.
Just a little too much pepper right there again by Crew Newman.
So I have an update. Different roster now. Number 8 is Elliott Bruce, sophomore, 6 foot, 170 pounds. Also plays safety on defense.
He looked good.
He's on the hash right now near the Portland State symbol inside the soccer lines. So Elliott Bruce.
Okay.
Keep an eye on him possibly in the second half. 3rd and 10 for Central Catholic. 35 seconds remaining in the half. Another pass play from Newman over the middle. Davison makes the catch this time, and Bruce makes the tackle and a fumble, and they're going to say that he was down at the 45-yard line of Reynolds.
Pass complete.
That could have been one of those plays where I thought he was on the defender as he got twisted to the ground.
1st down.
Clock is running, 23 seconds. Newman trying to get the signal from the sideline. 15 seconds remaining in the half. May gets set up on the line.
There
Newman looks to his right. He's going to tuck it himself, runs into his own offensive lineman. Still going to throw, and just out of the reach of his running back, Tyson Davis, who had popped out. And now there's 6 seconds remaining until halftime, and you have to think maybe they could have called a timeout right there, conserve about 10 to 12 seconds.
Yeah, I think coach is just, again, working on something. These are things that you want to work on. Sometimes you want to let your players get themselves out of a hole or try to learn on the fly. You could, like you said, you could have easily called a timeout and got them organized, but you want to have the situation. Sometimes you want to put your kids in the situations where they can learn on the fly.
Scores 41-6 right now. 6 seconds remaining until halftime. It'll be 2nd and 10 after this timeout on the 45-yard line. I mean, you've got a 37-yard receiving touchdown. You've got a 46-yard receiving touchdown. You've got a 65-yard run, a 35-yard run for a score as well. They've been breaking off big plays left and right. Can they cash in for another touchdown here before the half? Tommy Pempel, who had that out route score, is back in now. He's on the far side with Bomber Davison. Correction, now he comes to the sideline. You've got 4 receivers on the near side. May, Kelsey, Timmy Mitchell is now on the field as well. He's always a dynamic playmaker. First time he's been on the offensive side of the ball. Newman drops back, waiting for his receivers to get down there. Heaves it near the goal line and lands. Timmy Mitchell thought maybe he could have made a play as he crouched down near the ground. So Central Catholic probably And I mean this slightly, their worst sequence of plays here in the first half. Granted, they had 45 seconds to try to get down the field, but they'll take a 35-point lead into the break, 41-6. Any thoughts on the first half?
Well, you know, again, there's a lot of things that the Rams did right, but the things that the coaches are going to go in and talk about are the penalties. It's just unbelievable. You gave us a number a few minutes ago.
Yeah, over 80 yards worth of penalties, and that was before the last few defensive penalties as well. So you have to think close to 100 yards worth of penalties.
For a team of this caliber, a team that's this well coached, a program that is this well established, you never want to see 100 yards and penalties for a course of a game, let alone in the first half.
95 yards is the official total because of penalties. That's James Broadous. I'm Brian Syke. We're going to take a break for halftime. Second half will resume in about 15 minutes.
For the first part of your halftime entertainment, please welcome to the field Central Catholic Varsity Cheer. Next up, we present the Central Catholic Song Leaders.
Welcome back out of halftime. Brian Slike and James Broadous on the call. Central Catholic leading 41-6 after the break as we have a running clock to start off this second half.
And they don't waste any time
No,
running that
it's
clock.
already going.
I thought it would be after the kick, once the ball is kicked, to start running.
Vantoff will kick. It'll be Travis Hull and Michael Gray back to receive the kick. Squibber taken up by the up back and sliding to the ground is Andon Curtis, excuse me.
Andon Curtis on the return.
And that'll be the best starting field position for Reynolds. Their previous best spot was the 25-yard line, and with that sort of squib kick right there by Vantoff, Reynolds will take over at the 28-yard line.
With that squib kick, it puts the ball in the hands of people who aren't always comfortable with running. And so he picked the ball up, took a couple yards, and got to the ground. Self-preservation. Who's the quarterback?
It's Che. We were talking at the break on whether or not you start Che or Elliott Bruce in the second half. It seemed like Bruce, got some life into this offense for the 3 or 4 plays that he was out there. Even though one of them got called back, he had picked up 26 yards. And seemed to make a couple of nice plays, but unfortunately he got replaced on the 4th and 1 opportunity when Reynolds got deep into the Central Catholic territory. Some of the yards for Central Catholic: Killian Sambe, 2 carries, 100 yards, had 2 touchdowns. Passing-wise, 225 yards on 8 of 12 passing. Palmer Davison led the Rams, 4 catches for 61 yards, 330 total yards of offense, 8 penalties, though, for 95 as Che hands off the hole. Carpenter just bullied his man back into the back. And that'll actually be a loss of, looks to be 2 on that play. It'll be 3rd and 12 from the 27-yard line. Dexter Foster also in on that tackle.
The Raiders are just having a hard time moving that line of scrimmage. You're not gonna. It's gonna be hard at any level in any game to run the ball or even have positive yards when you cannot move that. When you do not win the battle at the line.
Reynolds, 17 carries for 66 yards in that first half. Elliott Bruce, the man we were just talking about, another sack for Central Catholic on this play. I mean, there were multiple defensive linemen in the face of Che.
So as we were talking a little bit before, what we saw in Elliott Bruce, and that may have just been a one-off. We don't know.
Yeah, true.
We do know what we did see, and we saw that there was a guy who could make some plays out of nothing. And Patrick Che is just not getting a lot of time back there. And, that's hard for any quarterback. But if you're athletic enough to be able to create some, like we said earlier, some magic out of there, then you may have to roll with the guy who can do that. Oh, boy.
Hancock's punt is shanked to the 28-yard line. It'll be touched down by Elliott Bruce near the Central Catholic sideline. It looked like something was said over there.
I wasn't expecting that punt, and I don't think anybody else was as well.
We were talking about if Bruce could throw the ball or not. He just threw one on the rope halfway across the field to get the ball off.
I saw the ball going across to the sideline. I didn't know who it threw. That was Bruce.
Yeah, it was Bruce, because he was the one who touched down that punt.
Something.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line for Central Catholic. Crew Newman is the quarterback to start this drive. Tyson Davis is in the backfield. Kainoa Hayes, the right tackle, running onto the field. Tight end down on the right side. Nico May, the near side receiver. Pempel and Kelsey, the receivers on the far side. Catch made by Nico May. Nicolaitis was trying to put a block on the corner, pushed out of bounds at the 20-yard line by number 2, Hector Macias.
Coach Pine wasn't happy how the half ended. And we didn't know how long the starters would start or would play the second half. But we did feel like it would come out in this first drive and at least try to get it going back the way that it had been going early in the half. and sort of build some momentum. So when you do take them out, they still have something to be proud of. You didn't want to leave that last taste in their mouth.
Newman looks to his left, looks over the middle. High pass to Nico May, lets his man get underneath it, and the leaping catch for the touchdown. That'll make it 47-6. And the correct amount of loft on that ball right there. We had seen Newman throw a couple darts that were just too far ahead of his receivers, but that one put enough loft on it that May could get underneath it and actually make a leaping catch as he went to the ground in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, he's showing all of his tools today. Like you said, we've seen the darts. We've seen the pass from one side from the hash marks on the right all the way to the left sideline. We've seen the long bomb. Now we see the touch pass. Crew Newman is showing out today.
Talking with Coach Pine, it's a mystery on how this young man does not have any offers outside of Division II. And mainly talking about the Division I level, he's been incredibly productive. I mean, coming into today, you have almost 7,700 yards of total offense just from Crew Newman alone in his 2+ years as the starting quarterback here at Central Catholic. And when I was talking to Coach Pine, he just said, you don't even need to recruit him as a quarterback. He's just a straight-up athlete. If you get him on your team, you can put him wherever you need. In worst-case scenario, you have a quarterback situation, you have a kid that can throw the ball and run your offense. And I think he's incredibly overlooked right now by some of these programs. Now, I heard that he was getting a couple looks at Montana State and at the FCS level, but man, he's too good of an athlete, I think, to not have on your team.
You know, it's sort of football is, I know it's not the same thing, but it's these analytics that we talk a lot about when you talk about baseball. Football is a lot about that, the size. What is his number, say, his height, his weight, and all that, and you have an idea. A lot of schools have an idea what their quarterback should look like or what height their quarterback should be. And so if you don't fit that matrix, then you don't even get a look. And to me, it's ridiculous because, like you said, he's an athlete. And he can play, I would imagine he can play wherever you need him to play. And at the least, he would be a great backup QB.
That'll be a touchback. That's Rodell Akins, who was back to receive that kick. The first time he's been back to receive the kick.
Clearly, he was confused at what was happening, why the referee was blowing his whistle. But once the ball goes into the end zone, it's an automatic touchback. And it really helps the offense.
And here we go. We'll finally get to answer your question. They start at the 20-yard line.
Start at the 20.
Unlike college and in the NFL where it's at the 25-yard line now. Gray and Vixatap are the receivers on the near side. Two running backs in the backfield right now with Che. Che drops back to pass, goes to the right side, down the sideline, and incomplete. No flag thrown. On the defense was Roan Beaupre. The pass was intended for Akins.
Looks like Beaupre and the other DBs, they're not really concerned about the receivers getting behind them. I don't know if maybe they're scouting like they don't believe that Che can put the ball out in front of them, but they're not really concerned about the receivers getting behind them for the long ball. And they're right there on the inside shoulder ready to knock the ball down when it comes up short.
Hole is next to Che. Player coming on late. And I don't know if that player was set, but Che will slide down. It was just in front of number 17, Patrick Phelps.
The officials are now officiating the scoreboard because there's no way that guy was set.
He was not set. He was still moving as that ball was snapped.
He was out there doing the electric slide, and they hiked the ball. They snapped the ball. They just didn't want to call it.
3:30 remaining in the third quarter. Two receivers each side of the formation. Jay looks to his right, goes to the out route and spun to the ground after making the catch is Austin Vixatep. Tackle made by Cade Galen.
Complete to number 10, Austin Vita.
Cade Galen showing that he can cover in space. We've already seen him make open field tackles, and there's another one out there covering a receiver from the slot.
Now it's 4th and 1 again, and they're back to the I formation. And they tried to sneak it, and it's not going to be successful.
Quarterback keeper by Peyton J.
Evan Brenner
Does not get the needed
makes
yardage
the
for
stop,
first down.
and
Ball
Brenner is
goes
that
to
guy
the
that made the
Rams. First and
transition
10.
from running back, linebacker, all the way to the offensive line, and now he's the second string defensive lineman right there, plugging that hole next to the guard and center and preventing the QB sneak for a first down.
He's played all those positions on the offensive side. He knew what this play was. And as soon as the ball was snapped, he was right there. He was not letting them get the quick snap or that 1 yard that they needed for the first down.
48-6. A little over 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter, and Bo Rolak will come out as the quarterback this time. Rock Thornton is the running back next to him. Davison, Kelsey, and May are the receivers.
Inside.
Davison and Kelsey are on the near side. Hand off to Thornton. He goes off tackle, gets past the line of scrimmage, and taken down on the far sideline by
And
Elliott
number
Bruce.
49, Rock Thornton.
Pickup of 3 on that one.
Rod Thornton is the running back right there. Again, we talked about it earlier, but film, when they watched that film, I could tell you what that play was about to be. Thornton was leaning towards his inside the whole snap. You knew that he was going to get the ball on that inside handoff. He's going to have to sharpen that up a little bit. You can't tip your plays.
Another handoff to Thornton, and he got tripped up, and at least he got back to the line of
Thornton, the ball
scrimmage.
carrier.
I don't know if anybody actually made that tackle, but he tripped up and had a knee on the ground, and that automatically ends the play. As we close in on the final minute here in the third quarter. Central Catholic has had 5 different running backs get a carry. 5 different rushers, I should say. 6 different receivers have made a catch in this game. 35 seconds. Rolak. Play action. Davison across the middle. Got past Bruce. And sidesteps another defender and into the end zone.
Pass complete.
Davison.
Into the end zone. Touchdown Rams.
His second touchdown of the season. Davison with some nifty footwork as well. Bruce was on his hip, but he broke away from him, and then a sidestep of the defender, Rodell Akins. And Davison is able to take it in just before the end of the third quarter to make it 54-6.
We talked about the teams charting your plays and making note of what works, and you come back to the things that work. That route has been working all day. They've been able to get Davison across the middle all day long, and there was a couple of them that were just missed, but it wasn't due to the fact that he was not open.
Van kick is good. That's the end of our third quarter. Rams 55.
So Rolak
Rams
now
6.
has his second touchdown throwing on the season. And Palmer Davison's not a name that is technically new. He was the receiver last year for Central Catholic, and it made a couple of nice plays as well. And just the senior making another nice play. 6'3", 190. He's got a nice frame for a receiver and going over the middle. And just pitch and catch for this Rams offense right now.
Right. When you got that type of height advantage, when you're catching the ball with your hands and not with your body, these weapons are hard to stop for anybody. We see it's hard to stop here for the Raiders, but I believe that teams all across the state are going to have problems with this Central Catholic Ram offense. And they started the game throwing the ball to Landon Kelsey, another 6'3", 190-pound receiver, and they have not even had to come back to him in this type of a game, but you still have that weapon. We've seen what Demarion Gates can do from the punt returns, and even the little slant route that he ran, that he caught for 46-yard touchdown pass. There's just a lot of weapons. It's too hard to concentrate on one thing for the defense.
Now, 36 is kicking for Central Catholic, but he's on neither of our rosters. Short kick taken at the 22-yard line and taking it all the way up to about the 41. They're going to mark him down at the 40. That was a return from Andon Curtis. And that's a guy who just took the ball with momentum on that kick and ran with it, and it was a nice return. This is the best starting field position now for Reynolds in this game. 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line.
Yeah, Curtis was able to catch that ball, like you said, on the run and just keep sort of just falling forward, and he fell forward for about 20 yards. Sort of underkicked the coverage that time.
Jay, the quarterback, not quite pistol formation, just off to the right side. Hand off to Hull, spins away from one defender, and now has an opening. Got past the arm tackle. He's past the first down and pushed out of bounds on Central Catholic side of the field. And it looks at the 46-yard line. Bobby Blanchett, makes the tackle. Blanchett with that long hair looking like Troy Polamalu out there.
There's a lot of new numbers out there for the Rams. Looks like coach is starting to empty his bench a little bit.
Two receivers on the near side for Che. Hand off to Hull. Ball's on the ground. Che picks it up, trying to advance it past the line of scrimmage. He'll be tackled at the feet. And again, another number that has escaped me is number 55. It's Connor Donegan. It'll be 2nd and 10 on the 46-yard line here in the fourth quarter, 55-6 in favor of Central Catholic. Safety drops back. Che looks to his right over the middle, and he's got his receiver, cuts away from one defender, and he is met by Landon Kelsey, who whips him to the ground at the 30-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down for Reynolds as Akins makes the catch. And it seems like that's been their success so far in this game, are those quick slants where it doesn't allow the defensive line to get into the backfield, where it seems like anytime you've taken a 2 or 3 step drop out of this shotgun formation, the defensive line is right in your face.
Right. And you just got to get rid of it. You got to make the read. The pre-snap read has got to be right. Then you just got to trust it and let it go.
Receiver in motion. Hull takes it. Awkward fall, but a pickup of about 6 on that play. It'll be 2nd and 4 at the 24-yard line. Rock Thornton was in on the tackle.
Listen to these names. I love them.
Rock Thornton, that's another great football
Thornton,
name.
It is.
Receiver in motion. Jet sweep with a handoff to Vixatep. Tries to get outside, and Blanchett will make the tackle from the safety position. Gain of about 1. It'll be 3rd and 3. And Vixatep is coming up limping after that play, so he'll head to the sideline. Jesperson on the field now. Jabrian Test also comes on for Reynolds.
I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but I sure would like to see Elliott Bruce again. I want to see what he can do. He might be something that, a weapon that the Raiders could use later on throughout the season.
Hull sidesteps a defender as Gray was his lead blocker out there on the edge, and that's enough for a first down, a pickup of 4.
Jamoka Scary on the stop. That's good for Reynolds, first down.
Ascari was in on that tackle. And they're going to go back to that I formation. Test is the fullback. Hull. Here's the running back. Fakes the handoff to Hole. Play action. Trying to look for Gray, who was cutting across the middle. Che being chased from behind.
Che sacked. Gavin Dunn.
You know, you don't have a lot of time anyway, and you're going to play action, which I get. You know, you're trying to give yourself a little bit more time. Maybe your lineman go after the running back. But when you haven't, your running game isn't a real threat in today's game, there's no need for these guys to bite on that play action. You're just putting your quarterback in a little bit more danger because he doesn't have enough time to make a read and get rid of the football.
That sack was a loss of 6 yards. 2nd and 16 from the 25-yard line. Curtis and Hole are the running backs behind Che. Hand off to Hole. Could not get anywhere. The defensive line pushed right through the offensive line, and the tackle was made by Aiden Broughton.
This defensive line has been confusing the Raiders' offensive line the whole game. Again, they get set up in one position in one gap. Before the snap, they'll shift over to another gap, and now the offensive line is having to make adjustments on the fly. And a lot of times at this age, high school students are not always able to make that quick adjustment.
Vick's attempt just got back onto the field, so you're happy to see that for Reynolds. Che will roll out to his right. Defender right in his face. It was Broughton, and then he is sacked by number 40, Sile Bell. Bell, just a sophomore, as you're getting deeper and deeper into the lineups for Central Catholic, with the score being 55-6. That'll bring up 4th and 26. Now at the 35-yard line. It was 1st and 10 from the 19.
They're going the other way. Oh.
Punt will stay in the field. Taken at the 5-yard line. Gray meets the returner and takes him down. Good punt coverage from Reynolds right there to prevent any type of big return. We've already seen 2 big punt returns for Central Catholic. On the return right there was number 30, Jamoka Scari on that one.
1st and 10 Rams.
That was the best punt of the day as well. You know, a lot of the other punts had been shanked or kicked out of bounds or kicked behind you or whatnot, but that was one of the best punts that they've gotten off. And so now they've put the offense in a hole.
Rolak will go back out, so you have to assume Kurt Newman's day is just going to be done with the running clock here as we close in on 4 minutes remaining in this game. Hand off to the running back, off tackle.
Revon Reese, the ball carrier.
Ryvon Reese is the ball carrier right there. Pickup of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4 from the 12-yard line. Blanchett, the receiver, on the far side. Scari, the slot receiver, on the near side. Another handoff to Reese. Pickup of 2.
You know, these are those moments where you allow your younger players to get out here, get some much-needed reps. Let them get on film, get on tape. You coach them up just like you coach up your starters.
This is part of the reason why you have to think that Coach Pine has had success, the ability to get these younger guys in and get actual varsity reps. Not just in practice, but real game time reps. Rolak getting the play clock all the way down right now. He's waiting for the hand signal from the referee. It's up, and there's the snap. Hand off to Reese. And Reynolds had multiple players in the backfield. Reese still trying to break away and then slung to the ground.
Reese, the ball carrier. Hancock's with the tackle.
And that's actually a loss of 5 on the play. Correction, loss of 4. It'll be 4th and 5 from the 11-yard line.
Punt team, do we get to see the punter?
We are going to see the punter.
What? I'm sure he was back there taking a nap. He has not been called out. I wonder how many times the Rams have punted this season.
That number is 6. 6 times so far.
Oh.
Sam Schuver on to punt, averaging 38.8 yards per punt. He has a long of 52 on the season. High snap, Schuver able to corral it. Gets it in the air, end over end, lands at the 30, takes a Central Catholic bounce towards midfield, and it will be downed by Beau Rompre at the 42-yard line.
You know, with the running clock, it doesn't matter if you stop the ball. Otherwise, they would be mad at him for picking the ball up so fast. You want the clock to continue to run, but when you have a 49-point lead, the clock is going to continue to run. So it doesn't matter how soon you pick the punt up. Uh-oh, look who's our quarterback.
Oh, it's Elliott Bruce. Hand off to number 21, Casey Burns. Oh, he's got some speed. Broke into the second level, and the shoestring tackle made by number 10, Gavin Dunn. There is a flag, though, at the 39-yard line.
And I think that's going to be the last play.
And they actually stopped the clock, 19 seconds. And the referee in the middle of the field kind of gave a shrug on why did we stop the clock here, as a holding call goes against Reynolds.
He's ready to go.
He is.
You can tell he's ready to go.
And they're going to timeout called by Reynolds. So not quite yet, ladies and gentlemen. There's 6 seconds remaining here.
Timeout. Reynolds.
The Reynolds team, half of their team was already lined up at the 50-yard line, coming, getting ready to do the handshake. I think the coach seeing something in this last offensive play that gave him a little bit of light, give him a little bit of, let me see if we can do something here. I think he may have missed the opportunity to do this a little bit earlier in the game.
Well, now you're seeing Elliott Bruce out there, as you mentioned at the start of this drive for Reynolds. And he seemed to be the more electric player, at least to end that first half.
See if he's involved in this last snap. I would keep the ball in his hands.
He's out there. 2 running backs in the backfield with him. Here's the snap. Dropping back. Rolls out to his right. Couple defenders closing in. He gets hit from behind. And that looks like it hurt, but he's able to get back up. And that will end our game 55-6. The Rams over the Reynolds Raiders. And James, any final thoughts on tonight's contest?
Well, you know, what we see here is we see one program who's just consistently at the top of their game. The thing that I like the most is that you never see the Rams take a day off. You don't see them come against some opponents that they thought that they should beat and that they may play below their standards. You know, coach always has them ready, always has his teams ready, no matter who they're playing. And once again, they just showed their dominance in this league conference here.
Well, with that Rams victory, they move to 5-0, 3-0 in league as they take on Gresham at Gresham next week on the 6th. That was James Broadous. I'm Brian Slyke. Thank you for tuning in to our broadcast. Until next time, stay safe.